Hello everyone, my name is Screamfire Subtiplier and welcome to this video, which is a Duna Apollo style mission to it's an Apollo style mission to Duna. Anyway, so you can see we've already launched, and the bottom stage we have 6 aerospike engines along with the medium length tank, which have all been jettisoned. Then we have they're all asparagus staged. Then we have the skipper engine, which we're using right now to push us into the upper atmosphere. Then once we decouple that, we have our portal engine to push us further pushes into space and almost into orbit, but not quite. As you can see, we're pretty high up now, and there we are. Our upper axis has just gone above 70 kilometers. So this is all sped up at, there you go, there goes the fairing. This is all sped up at 4 times acceleration, and other than that, and I've installed a couple of other mods. I've installed a new skybox and a distant object enhancement, because I can see Kerbin from a very far distance. Anyway, so the portal engine's out, and then we have our nuclear stage, which is going to push us into orbit. We just need 100 meters per second or so, so it's not a huge deal. This thing comes with 9 kilometers per second ish, so I kind of over engineered, but it is my first time going to Duna, so I didn't want to be under engineering anything. So yeah, even the lander is over engineered. You can probably land on Tylo, now that I think about it. Depending on how much delta V it requires, it can probably land on Tylo. No, actually, no, it doesn't have a TWR greater than 1 on Tylo, I think. Anyway, moving on. We've warped to our transfer window for Duna, which is but it's the formula window. The transfer window, the model transfer window, is more accurate. So first what I did is I made I'm doing this over the course of 2 burns, because the nuclear engine isn't the fastest acceleration. So we're doing the first burn to get within to an orbit of which takes 2 hours to complete, because I thought that I'd do this within because I warped to 2 hours after the maneuver, sorry, the window, or 2 hours before the window. So I'm trying to get to 2 hours after. Now you can see me adjusting the maneuver node to 8 days, and you can see it dramatically reduces the amount of delta V required. And then here we are. I'm just going to be warping time a little to the maneuver, because on its own 8 days would take forever for me to warp to. So then we have the maneuver, which is just ahead of us, and we're going to be burning now. And this is I think this is the longest burn, either this or the capture burn at Duna, which is a combination of aerobraking and capture burning. But either this or the aerobraking is going to be the longest burn in the video. I don't think, because really I don't have to burn much throughout this entire thing. I could have easily made this more efficient. But here's the first mistake I made. I put myself into a retrograde orbit. I thought it was a prograde orbit, but turns out I put myself into a retrograde orbit, because I'm entering from the back. So I thought I was entering from the front, but I'm entering from the back. So since I'm entering from the back, I should have realized it once I got this icon counter by mistake, but I didn't. So I kind of messed up here. But I still said, even after I found out, I was like, okay, let's do this landing nevertheless. So yeah, we're just leaving Kerbin behind, and yeah, there we go. Then we're leaving Kerbin behind. We've lost all communications, but it's fine, because we have a pilot on the command seat. Not the command seat, I keep the cockpit. So then we're approaching our mid-course correction, which is a 12 meter per second burn. Then here I adjust the stuff a little bit. But then at this point I put myself firmly in a retrograde orbit like an idiot. In fact, I should have known that this was a retrograde orbit. Then I turned down the thrust limiter, and I slowly pulled the apoaps in, and 30 kilometers worked for me. Then I started doing other adjustments too. Then yeah, there you go. A small cut there. Sorry about that. It's just I had to stop recording for a second because some other issues were cropping up. Anyway, so I adjusted the maneuver, the node a little bit to graze the atmosphere at 30 kilometers. Then I made a bunch of adjustments because I kept either going above or below what I'd like. So, but then eventually I did manage. Like here, I just put I touched the shift and then I touched the X key, like just barely. It took me half a second to get that 31 kilometer periapsis. So then I just warp time till we get to the Duna encounter. You can see Duna over there and Jewel. Because this is all because of distant object enhancement. I really recommend you get it because it makes it look a lot cooler because you can see everything. Anyway, we're entering Duna's sphere of influence. You can clearly see it as a disk now, or I think you can see it as a disk because I can't see it. The preview is small. So yeah, now I'm just seeing how much delta V it would take, and it'd be a 2-minute burn with full powered engines, I'd say. And if I had done this would also be another long burn. But I didn't, so it's not a long burn, not nearly as long a burn. In fact, I didn't use any other long burns in the course of this video, I think. Now actually, this thing came down to about 550 meters per second after the aero brake, so I had to burn anyway. But it wasn't as long a burn as the Kerbin escape burn. I'll just see how much I think actually yeah. And anyway, here is where I jettison the first of the fuel tanks. The other I jettison when I finally I'm about to re-enter the atmosphere of Kerbin, because this thing has far too much delta V for this mission, I'd say. It could probably go to Dres, Eve, although it can't land there obviously. Gilly is obvious. Moho, it could probably get to Moho, considering that with gravity assist, of course. I could probably do an Eve gravity. Oh well, never mind. I'm rambling now. So you can see I am putting myself into orbit, and you can. This is the last chance for me to correct my retrograde orbit, and I do not. I just extend my periapsis to 65 kilometers, which is above the atmosphere. Which means, and then after that, this is my last chance to do it because after this I put myself in a low Duna orbit, which means I won't be able to correct it. So, but then this lander has ample delta V to perform even a retrograde orbit landing because of its it comes to 3 kilometers per second. Yeah, I over-engineered it quite a bit, I know. Then it didn't have enough, because I put myself in a retrograde orbit. It had just barely enough delta V to get into orbit. It had 150 meters per second to spare, I think, at the end of it. Anyway, you'll see anyway soon enough once I finish. Anyway, so you can see me coming here again to perform the insertion to low Duna orbit. And then I think towards the end of this burn, I realized shit, we're in retrograde orbit. But then I decided to go along with it because we have excess delta V, and I thought it might be a good idea to try it out and see whether we can make it. And here you can see I'm transferring Jeb to the command and to the lander, and we've just decoupled the lander from the main spacecraft, and we're going to be landing on Duna now. So I'm making a small maneuver just to pinpoint where we want to land. And we want to land somewhere high so that we minimize delta V loss from the atmosphere. Even though Duna's atmosphere is fairly thin, it's about what we have at 15 kilometers above Kerbin at sea level, at ground level at Duna. So I think it'd be, yeah, there you go. There we're performing the burn now. I think it's pretty thin, but then I still don't want to waste delta V because even though it's a spark engine. And annoying thing about Duna, below 60 kilometers but above 50, where you're still in space, you can't do more than 10 times regular warp, which is something annoying, but it's okay. We can manage. Anyway, you can see me using the atmosphere to brake. Then about 20 kilometers above the terrain, I start burning the spark engine, and that's right now. And you can see me just I'm not doing much. I'm just checking around for what's going on. Then it's still burning, and yeah, there we go. You should be landing fair. Yeah, we are landing now. So I could have made this descent slightly more efficient by burning slightly later, but I didn't do that this time. So anyway, I put a flag on the damn thing, so I did the mission. So I'm gonna see if I can update the save file, because this is the most I've done. I haven't really done more than sending probes to Duna, Eve, and Jules. This is the first time I've sent a manned mission, and I know how hard it is now. Anyway, you can see me slowly going towards the surface of Duna. You can see Kerbal Engineer helping me out, because Kerbal Engineer is nice. It's really helpful. If you don't have it, I really recommend it. Kerbal Engineer, Kerbal Alarm Clock are two essentials of Kerbal Spacecraft for me, because I can't do it without. I can calculate all the phase angles and stuff without, but I'm lazy. Anyway, you can see the tank. I decoupled the tank before, right? So you can see one of the tanks survived. I could have gone to investigate it, but I didn't because I'm dumb. Anyway, so I take a surface sample. I plant a flag. And you can see Jeb nicely doing there. Dinner landing. I need to get glasses. Damn retrograde orbit. Yeah, I realized that at that point. You can see me planting the flag on that. Anyway, so I board and I target it such that I can get an encounter with it. I get into orbit slightly too late. Slightly too early. I could have. If I'd done it earlier, I could have probably actually docked with the spacecraft itself. Anyway, but that didn't happen because I didn't have enough Delta V to do it. So so right now I'm ascending and getting it orbit around Duna. You're seeing, yeah, and you can now I realize, like, shit, I could have launched a lot later than what I actually launched at. But I somehow like, okay, I'll manage. I need to get my app. So what I needed to do is make my orbit slower so that the main spacecraft could catch up with me. Yeah. So that's what I was gonna do after this burn. I didn't realize that I thought, okay, so I can let it catch up. But then I realized that, wait, I'm in a lower orbit. And I'm like, shit. No, I need to I need to increase my orbit. So I do that. I increase my apoapsis to about 80 kilometers, I think. Then I go to the tracking station because I don't want to warp time here. It's boring. I go to the tracking station for warping orbits. But after this maneuver, of course, which is only 14 meters per second, and you can see I have 171 meters per second in orbit of Delta V. It's barely any fuel at all. So I'm being very careful not to waste any fuel whatsoever. I don't want to. But then I end up running out of fuel anyway, so that's not a big. Yeah, I be careful, but then turns out I run out anyways. So yeah, you can see me warping about one orbit here. Yeah, and then after that I go back to the craft. And you can see me saying, ooh, the next one's 24 kilometers. That's close enough. And it's only 90 meters per second of the, it's only 90 meters per second of change in, of relative velocity. So I have that much fuel. I'm like, yes, maybe I don't need to, I probably don't need to use my RCS except for docking, but then I have only 15 units of monoprop. I should have added more. Now that I think actually, even then I was like, oh, come on, I have to add more. Anyway, so now I'm trying to see what I should do to get my encounter distance closer. I got it to within 14 kilometers, I think, but then I was like, shuck it, it's too big a burn, I can't do it. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it there itself. And then this is the hardest part of the mission, because, or rather, this will be the hardest part of the mission, as you will see why soon enough. Once I run out of fuel, only 156 meters per second, plus maybe like 200 meters per second of delta V on the monoprop. So then you can see me warping to the thing, and I'll start burning retrograde. So just as to slow myself down relatively and get closer to the craft, and I get to within 23 kilometers, and then I run out of fuel, so I start using monopropellant. And I think, and for the first couple of minutes, I think I have enough monopropellant. I think that I have enough monoprop to get to the main craft, but then I realize I don't, and I'm like, shit, I need to EVA Jeb out to the craft. And I'm not too concerned about Jeb running out of delta V because he has 500 meters per second. But anyway, here we are. This commences the most stressful part of the mission. Because I never EVA Kerbals out. It's something I don't do. Anyway, so you can see me burning backwards and just checking Jeb's EVA pack. Kerbals come with a ridiculous amount of delta V on their own. I mean, they shouldn't come with so much delta V. Anyway, I changed the ambient light settings to be a little bit higher. Apply, that's too bright, so I good 20% just so that I can see stuff, and it still looks a little bit natural. So then here we are coming towards the craft again. This was incredibly stressful, and I recorded this in the middle of the night. So I was wide awake at 12 a.m. or something. This entire video record unedited would last about an hour and a half, maybe a little longer than that actually. Yeah, about an hour and a half. So then you can see me trying to get closer again, and I was not very concerned about running out of fuel, but every now and then I was a little bit scared. And the thing is, because it's an RCS pack, I was just, shit, and then I missed it, like crap. But then here, I was breathing super fast, and I was like, shit, come on, please Jeb, grab onto it. And I was very careful not to hit any of the solar panels either. If I had lost one, it's okay, but I don't want to lose both of them. I have battery packs on it though. And I was like, come on, please, grab. And then I pressed the grab button as soon as it came. I was like, yes, I have done it. And then so ends the most stressful part of the mission. That was insanely hard, considering of what I had to do. And then I warp time. Wait, no, first I wanted to warp time, and then I didn't. I pressed back to my damn Duna lander again. So I wanted a Duna Kerbin, and I warped time until we got the Duna Kerbin. We're just warping here, nothing much to see. But yeah, so that happened, and honestly, it was just because of poor management on my part, because I could have easily avoided that if I hadn't put myself into retrograde orbit. But then I made another mistake, which you will see soon enough. I made another much I think I'd say safer mistake, since you can do what I did to salvage the mission. So yeah, the other mistake was ridiculously stupid, and I could have easily fixed it, but I didn't notice it during testing, like an idiot. Because I didn't test the re-entry, because I was more preoccupied with testing the lander, which took me like 10 tests to make it kink out properly. Either it didn't have enough delta V, or it was too heavy to lift off from Duna, or it could lift off, but I tried as 2-stage, but that didn't work because the anti-engine just simply didn't have enough thrust to weight. Anyway, so I'm gonna be performing the burn now. The burn to get back to Kerbin. I actually made this burn a little more radial than what most people do, and I was like, okay, so now we're getting back to Kerbin. Finally, I bet Jeb's happy, and Jeb is happy no matter what I do. I mean, I EVA'd him across 20 kilometers of space, and for about 20 minutes of in-game time, and he's perfectly fine with it. I mean, I don't ever EVA Kerbals out. Anyways, you can see I'm adjusting my encounter so that I can get closer to Kerbin. about one half thrust, maybe about 2/5 thrust. Anyway, so now I'm that turns out this burn is pretty long too. It's a 1 minute, it's a 1 minute 34-second burn. It's the second longest, I think. I would say either the longest or the second longest after the Kerbin escape burn. So we don't have any mid-course corrections this time. Because I did all my corrections at Duna itself. So here we are at Kerbin, and we're gonna be inserting. It's just that we are about, and turns out we were very close to geostationary orbit, which is where we are orbiting at about. We're orbiting right above the surface. I mean, like right at the same speed as the surface. Very close, not at there, because the surface is moving only 80 meters per second relative to us. This time, at least, I wasn't in a retrograde orbit, so I wasn't too concerned this time. Yeah, you can see it almost looks like a geostationary orbit, but it isn't actually. The surface is moving slowly below us. Then we're performing our descent burn. And then here we have the second mistake which I made. Like a dum-dum, I didn't have a decoupler there. I did not put a decoupler on the between the heat shield and the main drive section. So that was a huge issue. And I was like, okay, crap, slow down. And you can see the engine's about to explode, but it didn't explode actually. That engine has impressive heat tolerance. And some glitches were going on, and the parachutes were intermittently heating up and then cooling down again for some damn reason. Anyway, so I was slowing, and you can see me here like, come on. And I was like, oh crap, we're not gonna make it. I EVA immediately, and there we go. That is the worst. I could have easily done this better, but since it's my first mission, I will excuse myself for that. I will make a better version of this soon. So you can see me landing now. I'll just be like, yeah, I'll just be gliding across the surface along that parachute. I like this parachute. I like the new Kerbal parachute thing because it allows you to escape missions such as this. And there we go, splashdown. And turns out Jeb has a beard because of the texture replacer. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, please click on the like button below. And please subscribe, it really helps. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.